Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. Now, Prince Harry is in my neck of the woods right now on the East Coast. So we're going to do a reading on him, on this appearance at the UN, status of the marriage, and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm going to be right back. Welcome back, Tarot fam, to my subscribers, my members, everybody who zooms in on my channel every now and then just to get the hot tarot news. We are going to be talking about Prince Harry. He spoke at the UN, United Nations leaders yesterday. I'm not sure what capacity he was invited there. He touched the Queen of Belgium, breaking royal protocol that he knows better about. He also attempted to rebrand mental health as mental fitness. He talked about climate change. He talked about social media. He had a lot to say. He also FaceTimed Meghan. We know this through some news outlets because it's such important news. But I do want to take a look at the fallout from this event, his actions at the event, and also we're going to take a look at the status of the marriage. So as always, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. I am continuing to have a sale on my private readings. You can see that on my my scheduling page through Calendly, that you can access through my about section and link in this video. My digital academy, I'm still working on that 101 tarot class, but you can take the free tarot class. So go on over there and go check it out. It is a 3-day free tarot class. You get to learn enough to be dangerous, and it may whet your appetite for the 101 class. There is also a Lenormand class on there, which is really cool. If you're not into Lenormand, it's a different kind of cartomancy. It's really awesome. But let's start talking about Harry. I'm going to pull up my card view. There we go. We're going to make that nice and big so you guys can see it. And thank you again so much for spending time with me. So we talked about his touching the Queen of Belgium, breaking royal protocol. How did the Queen of Belgium feel about that? Let's take a look. And I'm using my mystical medleys. 4 of Cups. She thought it was very progressive. But poor timing on that. Oh, it was presumptuous. She did not like it at all. And she departed from that particular situation, just kind of scooted off to the side. She had a lot to say about it behind the scenes. I don't think she was really thrilled with that behavior. Is she going to address this with the British royal family? She does obviously have contacts there. She's going to be very delicate about it. She has too many emotions about it. She's going to keep that under wraps for now. So this 7 of Swords, how she looks at this was very presumptuous, cheeky, I would say cheeky, and a very entitled kind of approach to speaking with another royal. He almost entirely like, oh, we're all royals here. You know, he really abandoned protocol in that moment. And I think she was offended by it. So, oof, bad idea. How are people looking at the concept of climate change in regard to his endeavor, Travelist? Now, Travelist was, just to remind all of you, Travelist was a project that he put together that was going to encourage responsible travel, which means you would offset your carbon footprint. You would travel responsibly within these dictates. I'm going to say dictates of Travelist and what they would suggest to do it. So, for example, celebrities would make a contribution to an environmental cause if they were traveling for vacation, something like that. So there would be some kind of formula. Would this be practical for normal people like you and me? Probably not. I know we did a great deal of traveling when I was younger with my family. I don't do a lot of traveling now. Really, my home is paradise. So I'm very happy staying at home. It is like being on vacation here when we go out in the back. But how is this, and to be sure, the timing of Travelist was poor because it was just prior to the pandemic. So are they going to try and reinvigorate this program and see if people are going to stand up and shout about it? Let's pull that card view back up. Is Travelist going to see a bit more of an oomph? That doesn't look good. That Page of Wands there. 10 of Wands. Yeah, like Queen of Pentacles. It needs to be fed some money here. 6 of Cups. It's 3 of Pentacles. They're not going to get the people that they need to get involved in this. So I do think that this was a great idea of Harry's. I think, he does like to travel. Meghan Markle, prior to the marriage, did have extensive travel. We did see that on her TIG website. So I think the idea was born of Harry and cultivated by Meghan. Oh, this is such a great idea. Like, it's a way for us to travel and kind of offset that and justify the vacationing that we're doing. And we can show people how to do it. So we can go to Bali, we can go to Bora Bora, we can go to the south of France and Monaco, and we can show them what we do to offset that, and then we can kind of showcase those areas. And it almost feels more like a travel agency than a responsible socio-responsible socio enviro kind of endeavor. It feels a little travel agency ish. So I think possibly the idea was to buy packages through Travelist. So you could go on there. I think eventually that was kind of the idea that they would develop these packages that were responsible. They would show you how they were responsible, and then you would travel like that. Psychically speaking, if they could get it to that point, the trips would be a little bit like the Fire Festival. So there would be some element of upselling the concept and not being able to deliver, being able to, say, oh, you can travel like us. Like, we would see this example on the website of this amazing traveling experience. And then the reality is it's not that experience. You're not getting that experience. You're getting something that's much more lowbrow, with a little styrofoam container with a piece of bread and cheese on it. So, is he frustrated with this? Yes. The problem is that the entitlement of Harry and the experiences that he has, he can't see the lowbrow experience. Lowbrow for him was, driving across Africa to go see Chelsea while swigging liquor in a Range Rover. That's like lowbrow, like, no holds barred. The idea of traveling, and I always said that they should have promoted a lifestyle brand. Live like a royal. We'll show you how to live like a royal. Like, you could be royal like us, regular people. We go surfing and go for hikes up in the the mountains, but you can, we're going to add just a little bit, like do a high-low thing and have crystal glasses when we go hiking up the mountain. So we're going to be grubby and gross, but we're going to have crystal champagne glasses up there. It's like, that could have been really cool. That would have been a really cool thing for them to do. And I think that would have been much more successful. This, I think is kind of the same concept, that we're going to show them how great travel can be, but it doesn't fly. It doesn't work because the reality is you can't produce that low end of it. So it's an idea that's fizzled out with this Page of Wands in reverse. It's just an idea that's fizzled out, and they've really kind of beat it to death at this point. It's just not going to get going the way they want it to. It needs to be fed more money, but no one's really keen on this idea. And they have very, very few partners that are going to want to get involved in it. Hanging on to the power of it is something that I think is more so Harry than it is Meghan. I don't think that she's really hanging on to the power of this. I think she's like, well, that's yours and this is mine. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate. It's just Travelist is not going to fly. The pandemic changed the way that people travel. It changed the way people think about travel. No one wants to go into the air. My own parents, my parents, they still travel a bit. They still commute to their other home, and a few times a year, and they don't want to go through TSA. They don't want to stand online with people. No one wants to do that anymore. As much as as a psychic, I love the airport because there's a lot of energy there, a lot of energy that you're tapping into. It's kind of like a smorgasbord or a buffet of energy that you can tap into. A lot of people don't like the airport. They feel like it's crowded, it's crazy, it's chaotic. I thrive on it. I love it so much. But people are not really interested in doing that. They'll not be traveling to the extent where they have to say, oh, well, I have to be really eco-conscious. That's a celebrity thing. That's a upper level, elite kind of problem. It's not a problem that we have. That's a celebrity problem. So not really accessible. So he also wants to rebrand mental health as mental fitness. How is this going to fly with the general population? He is someone that it's hard to take mental anything advice from him because he just seems like he doesn't have it really together. He doesn't have his cups in the cupboard. So let's just take a look. We're going to see how is his mental fitness today? Like on a scale from 1 to 10, how is his mental fitness today? Knight of Pentacles in reverse. He does not have a handle on it. He, again, the fundamentals, he's still looking for the things. Like there's no definition for it. He's still looking for the things. Like, he's still looking for the causation. He's not looking within. He's not finding that within. There's that spoiled toddler again. In reverse, I think we're going to keep seeing that spoiled, sad squirrel toddler. Up here, the healing process, he is not allowing that healing process to happen. That high priestess, he is ignoring the me you can't see. I'm sorry that I had to say that. He is ignoring. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we see with these projects that they get involved in. They get involved and they talk about the problem. They don't talk about a solution. They're not in a problem-solving mindset. They're not trying to resolve. And why would one? The idea, if this is a money-making endeavor, why would you want to solve the problem? You don't want to. You want to perpetuate the problem so that you can continue to monetize it. It's really what we're seeing. Dominant energy here. 2 of Swords. He wants to take it in a different direction. He's of 2 minds. This is very much a manic depressive kind of thing. The 3 of Pentacles, he can't get anyone to agree with him on the issues that he has, on that, well, I don't know where all this generational pain comes from, genetic pain. I don't know where it all comes from. He keeps asking these questions about where it all comes from, why it all happens, what's the deal with all of this, instead of really squarely looking at himself and taking some responsibility and understanding that he was the agent of this. He is the agent of this. Bad things happen to all of us, but it's how we manage that is how we heal and improve and change our lives and make things better for the people around us and the generation that we spawn. So I did say spawn. So in general, how did the majority view his involvement in this organization? How did the majority of people in attendance view his involvement in this United Nations leaders? Can't get away from him fast enough. He doesn't have any gas in the tank. He has nothing to provide. He's conflicted and difficult. He's always going to present some kind of drama. And he is way outside of his depth and outside of any sense of authority. He does not have any sense of authority there. And the Five of Cups, they feel bad for him. There's a certain amount of feeling bad for him. He's not a subject matter expert. He does not know what he's talking about. And he is plagued by the loss of his mother. That, if they feel bad, this may be that kind of thing. This is a failure to launch kind of situation. Harry is a failure to launch because he can't get beyond the loss of his mother. His brother lost his mother as well. I know this is said a million times on YouTube and the internet, but his brother lost his mother as well. His father lost his ex-wife. His father was forced into the position of being a single father and the heir to the throne. So, there's no consideration for the precariousness of that situation, the role that his father was shoved into. He just doesn't have a lot to present in terms of novel curiosity and any of that. He gets like a tiny little idea late at night after 3 or 4 bong pulls, and then says, this is such a great idea and everyone should be on board with this because I'm amazing. I'm an amazing person. Oh, it's amazing. He says amazing all the time. So does Megan. And, I do think that the presentation of him at this thing, there was a lot of question marks. I think a lot of people really think that he's out of his depth and really think that he does not really belong talking about these things. He belongs in Vegas, running around in, the pool and the hot tub. That was his job. I hate to say it. I'm so sorry, but that really was well suited for him. The opportunities that he had to provide leadership for the military, be a touchstone in the royal family for the military, kind of missed his calling. Kind of shirked the responsibility on that. We all know that he went to the Lion King premiere and did not go and honor those that were lost. So, shame on him. So now we got this nonsense about a FaceTime call to Megan. Where did that news drop from? Who was the source on that? There's the two of them. The two of them. Oh boy. And we haven't really seen much from like WME. We haven't heard much from them. I don't know if WME was involved in any of this. I don't know if their legit PR was helping out with this at all. This really seems to be an idea concocted by the two of them, that, you know, we'll send that out. We'll let everybody think, you know, everything's hunky dory. I hate that word, hunky dory. Is it one word or two words? I think they really said, let's broadcast something that makes us look like we're together. You know, we can cut it and be done with it. We don't need no stinking PR team. What do we want to spend that money for? You know, one of the things, psychically speaking now, one of the things, and I'll pull myself up here, because I'm not just a card reader, I am a psychic as well. So one of the things is that with the former PR and the handling of their lives, they would get advice and then they would counter that advice more than not and say, well, we don't want to do that. We think we should do this. So-and-so did this. Brad and Angelina did this. Will and Jada did this. So they kept stepping to the table after getting professional advice, and they would counter it and say, well, we want to try and do this instead. And their professional advisement would say, that's probably not the best idea. Let's not do that. Let's do something different. And they would go ahead and do it anyway. They would drop tidbits of news. They would have friends drop information. They would drop information themselves. I see a lot of phone calls being made from a certain lady's phone. And that was something that she had done historically. She actually posed by email as her own agent. She was negotiating and posed as her own agent. And that's not the first time I've heard of somebody doing that in LA, in the entertainment industry, where if they're not up to that level, they would pose and say, well, you know, I represent my client and, you know, we really need you to do better for my client. So the whole time it was them by email. But this is them functioning on their own, trying to do something that is going to be impactful and make them seem warm and fuzzy, but it's far too private. So, you know, no PR company would be like, hey, they had a FaceTime. Hey, they were FaceTiming. They had a phone call on Friday. Like, that's just stupid. I'm sorry. It's literally just stupid to be announcing that even though so-and-so wasn't there, they made a phone call. No one cares. You can't make fetch happen. So this is a way for her to be included in this program and not be included. So we're gonna back out of this just for 1 second before we talk about the marriage, and we're gonna look at the Kevin Costner event, because I know that Harry went on his own, and that was the event where Megan grabbed the mic last year. Harry went on his own, and Megan was allegedly sick. Was she really sick? I'm gonna pull up my card view now that I've shuffled. Was she really sick? 3 of Pentacles. No, she didn't want to be in the same room as him. 2 of Cups. Did not want to be in the same room as him again, but she wanted to be present. She wanted to direct some sunshine on herself. Actually, I'm going to say she did not want to be at the party. She did not want to be near him, but she still wanted some of the glitz, some of the glitter. And then that Queen of Cups, she could present herself even though she wasn't there. Was she sick? No. If she had been sick, we would see more of like a page or Queen of Pentacles in reverse. That would be sickness. This is angry, sad, aggravated, emotionally tumultuous. And over here, I'm just going to say that I was sick. I'm just going to say that I was sick. Dominant energy, 3 of Wands. It's not any benefit to her to go to that event because she is going to be on the outside. There is no cooperation, there's no collaboration, there's no getting together, there's no future with anyone that's there. And she's already on the outside of that community anyway. She's already been pushed to the outskirts. No point in going, no point in giving fodder to public media, social media, anything like that. So now here's the $1 million question. Let's take a look at the marriage. Let's take a look at the marriage. Ace of Wands. So we're going to go a little bit slower on this one. So the Ace of Wands, the fire is gone. The fire is gone. If the marriage was an Ace of Wands in the upright, then we would expect to see very, very passionate, very, very intense, and then fizzle out. Think about a match lighting. And then it goes away. Burns out very quickly. So the good news is that some marriages that are based on an Ace of Wands, you can turn that into an Ace of Cups. You can turn it into an Ace of Pentacles or a 10 of Pentacles that has longevity, deep roots, legacy that goes along with it. You can do that. The chemical reaction that happens when you meet someone, when you fall in love or lust, that is the Ace of Wands kind of energy. This says it's all gone. It's all gone. What crosses them? What crosses them? The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, that is very, very sexual energy, very intense kind of longing and lusting and let's get going. So there's something very sexy about the union still. That's really our fundamentals here, is that this is the mistake. This is the mistake that got us into this fix. The fieriness of it, the ness of it is what got us into this mix. And now that is burned out. Now we're spent. We're not really interested in having any kind of legacy. I do think that the marriage was based on a very teenage kind of feeling. And I don't want to talk too much about the overview of the marriage as much as I want to talk about what the energy is at this moment right now. Right now, the fire is burnt out. Right now, he is being held in place by the mistakes of his past. What is in the past? In the past, we have moved away from that devil energy. That is the things that we do that maybe aren't so good for us. We step out with actresses, we don't marry them. So we do have that in the past. That is something that, and when the devil's in reverse, we've broken away from it. We've stepped away from that. So I always call this the suitcase position. We have to go back into the past and either pack this in our suitcase or dump it out. This is what we need to pack in the suitcase. So prior to the Inskip wedding down in the Caribbean, there was a breakup. That is something that he needs to tap into. What's under the surface? Oh, I got 2 cards, so we're going to stick with those. The the 7 of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands. So the 7 of Pentacles is look back on what we've done. Look at what we've yielded. This is a farmer who says, how did I do? Did I do everything right? Did I use enough fertilizer? You know what I mean? Did I give it enough sunlight? Did I feed it enough? Did I give it water? Did I sing to my plants? King Charles says that. This is a look back, a review of the history that was there, the review of what has been done, and a quick look. We need to go through all of those things and realize what was good, what was bad. This is on both of them. Both of them need to do this. Both of them need to look back on that breakup before the inskip wedding. Now, there are some irrevocable things. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the kids. If there are kids, if there aren't kids, those are irrevocable things. Those are things that you will always have to deal with the other person. So we do have to look at that to a certain extent, or they have to look at it. What's on their mind? Mind on my money, and my money on my mind. And it is the Two of Swords in reverse. That is a split. That is a split. So I think we are at the point where enough is enough. We just don't want to do this any longer. Has it become so tedious that we're ready to call it quits and tap out? I don't know. We get that 10 of Pentacles there. That 10 of Pentacles is, we're going to stick with this. This is our legacy. Can they live separate lives and continue this illusion of relationship? Can they do that? Can they do it for the branding? So I think while the relationship is pretty much cooked, I don't know if we're going to see that split. I think the official legal divorce split, that kind of thing, I don't think we're going to see that, because I think they're living the separate lives already. Periodically, they'll show up, they'll be together, they'll pretend that they're still married, they'll drop hints that they had FaceTimes and whatnot. I don't think that they are in a situation that is, they're not sleeping in the same bed. I will say that they're not sleeping in the same bed. So how do they see each other? Six of Swords, wanting to escape, but unable to. Stuck. What happens if Harry says, oh, well, I messed up and now I've got to come back to the United Kingdom. Oh, I've got to beg for help. He looks like a loser. That's his worst fear. He does not want to be seen as a loser. He does not want to be seen as anything less than what his brother is. His brother is cruising through life with a great wife, beautiful kids, having a great time, and doing it masterfully, and taking care of sick people, and kind of managing things with the momentary outbursts. He is not. He has nothing to show for this endeavor to the United States. He has nothing to show other than the scrutiny of the Heritage Foundation, who are questioning him being here. What did he put on his application? Did he lie on the application? Is he just a crazy mixed up? And they wrote the book, and he wrote that book where he said he was just a complete disaster. So he has nothing to show for it. He can't leave yet, because if he does, it's going to be abject failure. He will look like a knob. How do you like that? How do others see him? Others see him as needing a mother. I know the Empress card is there, but he needs a mother. He needs someone to correct this behavior. Do we have one? No, we don't. The only thing that he has left is his mother. And he has sullied her legacy with all of the whinging and crying and whining and carrying on. So, hopes and fears. The fear is that it's never going to work out. It's never going to yield those pentacles. It's never going to be the dream that they wanted it to be. It will never be that total outcome. Now, remember, we've got this 10 of Pentacles. I'm saying that they can't separate. They cannot. They are living separate lives. The house is freaking big enough. They've got 16 bathrooms from what we hear. But they cannot separate because it will be an abject failure. So what is our long-term outcome? I got one card right here. And it is the Fool in reverse, recklessly careening toward the future, continuing to try and get that legacy of the 10 of Pentacles, trying to make it work, trying to create the illusion. So how sad that Harry is willing to live this kind of fake life. that he is willing to be miserable, to not be wrong when he is wrong, when he has failed miserably. Like, how sad. So what is the advice? Because we always like to find the yellow brick road, right? That's what I do for my private clients. That's what I do for my celebrities. Sometimes I forget in my videos, but we're not going to forget in this one. What is the advice? What should Harry do? What should Meghan do? They clearly don't want to be in the same room. Let's start with Harry. He needs to start anew. Let me bring up my card view here. Sorry about that, guys. He needs to start anew. He needs to cut bait. This is wild. He does not need the royal family. He doesn't need to be saved by Daddy or his brother. He does not need to be saved. He should not return to them. He should not worry about the money. Easy enough to say. Two of Pentacles, an entirely different life. Tower card, turning everything around. Something interesting will happen to him if he wants to continue. Now, there's not a lot of money here. So is it difficult for him to live without money? It's difficult for anybody to live without money, but him in particular, he does not quite understand what it's like to not be able to pay your cell phone bill. He doesn't understand what it's like to have your electric turned off, or to get an eviction notice, or get a foreclosure notice, have a car repossessed. He does not know what those things are about. And I we talked about it in the Travelist thing. He thinks that everyone travels around the world just like it's no big deal. He thinks that that's a real thing for people like you and I, like people that are just living regular lives. He thinks that, we are running around recklessly all over the place, abusing Mother Nature with our emissions and our carbon footprint. But the truth is that, my carbon footprint, my biggest dent into the carbon footprint is doing laundry and cooking dinner. It's not traipsing around the world. So I think being knocked down a peg or two gives him some, and I don't mean that in like the mean sense. I think it gives him some depth. I think it gives him some understanding. With that Hermit in reverse, he does not quite yet have that scholarly experiential knowledge, despite having been well traveled and despite being having access to libraries and schools and all of these amazing things. He really was blinded to the luxury of knowledge that was put, the buffet of knowledge that was put in front of him. Now that's not to say that William has feasted from that buffet. I think William was a good student, maybe not, like a scholarly scholar, but Harry seems to have flown in the face of it and seems to have been consumed more with having fun. This tower changing moment, this tower crashing moment, is that moment where he realizes how much privilege that he stepped to the table with. He's saying it now, it's a little bit of lip service. He really doesn't understand it. It's something that someone has told him. And so he's regurgitated it. In quieter moments with, maybe lesser friends, they said, oh, well, you're like really privileged, dude. He doesn't understand what that means. He thinks that privilege is being in a castle. He doesn't understand that being in that home, wherever that home may be in California, whatever that living condition may be in California, he doesn't understand that too is privilege. He actually thinks he's living like the normal folks now. So, or close to what the normal folks do. I'd love for him to come visit my house and take a look at my bills. But, the yellow brick road for him is to diverge from that. He will become a much more interesting person, a much more wealthy person in terms of intellectual understanding and universal understanding of other people. And once that happens, we're better able to help others. So no more nipple twisting on other wounded warriors and things like that. So he does need to have that moment where he realizes his place is really not in the 1%, but in the 0.25%. He really is in a very, very small bracket. And to be preaching to the rest of us about how we should conduct ourselves in the environment is insulting and inappropriate, to say the least. So, what should Megan do? And I do think that, with that departure from this privileged life and this privileged thinking, I do think that part of that is leaving certain parties that thrive on that and thrive on luxury and all of the goodies of life. We all want a 3,000 square foot closet. Don't we? Don't we all want a 3,000 square foot closet? So what should Megan do? Where is her yellow brick road? 8 of Cups. She's got to cut bait too. She's got to get out of there. Divorce. That is the Lover's card is divorce. King of Swords. 10 of Cups. 10 of Swords. So her happiness lies in the drama and the chaos. This really is indicative of that. It's to say it's toxic is to under describe it to the nth power. She has never been invested in Harry, the human. She has never been invested in that person. And that's quite sad, because I think it was hard for him to invest himself in another person just by the nature of his upbringing. But for her, it really is a job, and getting into a romantic coupling that is beneficial. Many, many, many marriages in Hollywood are based on the merger, and this is like a historic thing that the studios used to do. That they used to pair up actors and actresses. It really, they really do look in some respect as putting things together so we can become a power couple. Brad and Angelina, Will and Jada Smith, they are the prototype, or the archetype. You want to be a powerhouse couple. You'll have a production house, you'll have a record label, whatever it may be. The idea is that we build a business together, we build a brand together, and we exploit that. So whether or not we are truly in love, if we're the Nicholas and Alexandra, Romeo and Juliet of Hollywood, I do think that her first marriage was a starter marriage. First marriage, for those of you who think that there were more, the Trevor Engelson marriage, I do think that was a starter marriage. I don't know why she destroyed all the footage of it immediately after. But I think that really was getting her seed money, getting her seed house. Like, that is unfortunately how some people think over there. Not everybody. So, there are genuine people in Hollywood. I know I had a weird experience. My marriage to my ex-husband, like, we adored each other. I still adore him. I still think he's a great guy. We got married 3 months after we met each other. Wasn't going to have some longevity. Could have, but it didn't. So I was, that broke up for other reasons. I was sick and I wasn't going to be around for a bit, but nonetheless, I digress. So I do think that if that was a starter marriage, this was the retirement package that she was looking for. This was more, I need somebody who's going to fund my crazy schemes like I Love Lucy and my MLM things, like, this stupid orchard thing. And I do think that that's a tough sell. If that's the case, uh, you guys, she didn't suck up to the right people. She did not suck up to the right people in the family. She really created a ruckus. And I do think, I have my own personal opinion about that. I think she made some mistakes when she got into the family. I think she came in like gangbusters. She came in like an American and was like, she's one of those people that, like, if you hired her to work at your company, she would come in and go, I'm refiling everything. This filing system is crazy. If she worked in a library, the Dewey Decimal System is stupid. So I do think she came in like gangbusters, and she did say she was going to hit the ground running. She did, but she tripped on the third step and fell flat on her face. So I think, she made some mistakes and was criticized, punished for them. And at that point, she goes, well, this is, not going to work out. So I'm going to create a situation that enables me to leave, which is very unfortunate, very unfortunate. So, to recap, I think the UN leaders thing, I don't think it's gonna go over very well. I think the touching of the Queen of Belgium has gone over like an absolute misstep of protocol. Nose is itching. Who am I going to get in a fight with? I do think that that's going to be something that will be a buzz in the royal families, the royal houses of Europe. This business with Travelist is very much out of step with everyone else. The whole mental fitness thing, they're just seeing him as someone who is not really mentally fit himself. He really shouldn't be discussing this. And I do think that the marriages, we're living separate lives. We're not living on the same path. And I think making that clean break for both of them is beneficial for both of them. It'll enable Harry to go on and recreate himself. It will be a rocky path for him if he does this, if he follows this advice. So hopefully he'll see this and follow the advice. I don't know if he's going to see this, but following what you need to do. Sometimes what you want to do and what you need to do are two different things. Sometimes the easy path is not the one that yields the most growth for ourselves. But I think this is an opportunity for him to really and truly grow out of this situation. I do think that no matter what, Meghan is going to be cranky and miserable and complain about it. He needs to understand that whether the divorce happens now or 20 years from now, she's going to have a lot of negative things to say about him. That is how she conducts herself. So that's my reading for today. This is a long one. I didn't think I was going to go quite this long, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and consider becoming a member of this channel. I do have memberships. I'm going to be cooking up some really cool things for my members. I have 2 levels at this point. So I'll have some interesting, fun things for you guys as we move along and as we get more members into the cookie jar. But as always, you can get a private reading from me down below. There is a link. It's also in my about on my page, on my YouTube channel, about section. And my digital academy is up and running. 101 Tarot is going to be launching hopefully by October 1st. I just have a few more things to do on it, but I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing rest of your day.